Hey, peace world. Um, I don't want to get into politics, but I'm just struggling with I'm struggling with what I see in the community right now. I will talk about this on my It's Always Personal podcast. This is kind of where I try to steer these types of subjects. Um, but I saw this Barack Obama sit down with the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne the God at the 22. And Obama is on there to talk about his new book, A Promised Land or The Promised Land. But at the 22 mark, Charlemagne the God gets to his question and he asks, why do we said something about why do we have to soften our truths about racism? And then he asked, Obama spoke for a second, and then he said, yeah, but why do we need to wait on them? Charlemagne asking, why do we need to wait on them, talking about white people, to speak our truths? And like I said, I'm just struggling with this. Like this, you can't be keeping it a buck, you know. I see this shit on here on a lot of these channels, a lot of these platforms, and I'm struggling with people actually think that you can say whatever and that shit actually means something, that it's actually gonna resonate, that it's actually gonna change something. I'm getting ready to play the sound bite to that in a minute. But what I do want to say is this. In the real world, a lot of us, a lot of black people, a lot of black Americans, you're not in a position where you go to work and you speak your mind freely and without any repercussion. A lot of us are not in a situation where you go to a place of business where everybody that works there looks like you and thinks like you. There's no cultural differences. That shit don't exist. Yeah, Charlemagne the guy can say whatever the fuck he wants to say on the Breakfast Club. Similarly to Trump, that's one of those positions where he can say whatever he wants to say, and their numbers are still the same. They still have the same amount of listeners. They still get all the guests that come on the show. Nothing changes regardless of what Charlemagne the God says on his show. Obviously, Barack Obama is not in fucking talk radio. He was a fucking politician who happened to go on and be the president of the United States. And I'm not even going to get into this thing of whether or not Barack Obama did anything for black America. I don't really have time for that shit. But, and Obama, so I'm not even going to hate on Charlemagne, because for me to say something to him, I'm a hater or I'm an idiot or whatever. You know, I can't win that battle. So without really pointing out that he's really not all that bright or really not really saying shit, I'm more or less praising, there you go. I'm more or less saying that Obama he kicked his ass just by saying basic common sense shit. Like Obama told him, it's simple math. And it's simple math for what I just said about the Breakfast Club. He can sit on that show. They can sit on that show and say whatever they want to say. Charlemagne the guy can make all his jokes about racism. He can make disrespectful or fucked up comments about white people. He can say his mayonnaise shit. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and there's no consequence for it. But obviously, when this man is sitting here as a politician, as a former politician, and in the position that he was in, he did what the fuck what any sensible person would have to do. Like, what don't you understand that it's only 45 million fucking black people in this country? It's 250 million white people in this country. It's like 52 or something million Hispanic people or something. It's simple fucking math. The dude was the president of the country. And I think what they were talking about was the Gates situation, Lewis Gates, Henry Gates. I think this was the start of the conversation that they were talking about. But, you know, Obama tried to do his thing and speak about the shit the incident, that's where Gates got had an issue with the police. And I guess that they did the beer summit or some shit. But what the fuck was he supposed to come out and bang on his chest and say whatever? What the fuck was that really going to change? This is one thing, like I said, I would go into depth on this situation right here. I'm just going to mention it for some context. But I would talk about this on my It's Always Personal podcast. I just keep not talking about it because I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems from my job. But I'm gonna tell you how shit work in real life. In one scenario, I was trying to get an event or get a promotion at my job years ago, and this is some of this black power shit, some of this black people this, and we gonna do this and this and this. This is where this shit really fucks me up. I was trying to get this promotion. Say we had 9 work groups in the building. 9 work groups with 9 supervisors. Each work group had 1 lead associate in the work group. I was trying to get a promotion, and I had applied for supervisor positions, didn't get any of those. And a lead position would only become available every so often. I was like, one came available, and I was like, let me try for that, because that's a natural progression to go from the, a regular associate to a lead position. Let me get this experience as a lead, and that should help me get into the supervisor position. The lead position that became available, it was a brother who was the supervisor in that work group. Now you would think, well, shit, it's a brother. This is how we think. That brother is gonna help me get the position. I'm one of the only people in the building that's going to college, finishing up a 4-year degree. I'm one of the only people in the building that was even trying to do anything. Everybody else was just, I don't want to be bothered with that shit. A lot of people didn't even care. But it was a work group that I had been in for fucking years. And so, but I didn't go into it thinking that my man is gonna help me out. I just know everything that I have been working on for the past 4 or 5 years to make this happen, where it should have been open and shut. So I go apply, and another detail, the brother who was the supervisor in the of the work group, he's my fucking neighbor. Me and this dude didn't watch boxing together. We didn't talk sports. We didn't chopped it up. We didn't barbecue together. He didn't been at my house and kicked it. I didn't kicked it at his house. We cool. I still didn't really look at it like it's a slam dunk for me. Anyway, to fast forward, I didn't get the job. I didn't get the job. And what circulated back to me after the fact was the white people in the group went to management in general and told them, if you have a black supervisor and a black lead, well, shit is gonna be double stacked against us white people, and we can't have that. That's what the word was. Now, mind you, it's 8 other fucking work groups where it's a white supervisor and a white lead. You can do the math on that. So what I'm saying is, this shit that Charlemagne the God is talking about, just say what you want, just do what you want, just blah blah. That shit is bullshit. That shit only happens in a couple of places. Rockefeller fucking Records, Rap-A-Lot Records, Death Row. That's the only fucking places that you can go someplace and say whatever the fuck you want to say. You might be Antonio Brown at the Steelers for a couple of years. You might speak your mind in that building and run that show for a couple of years. LeBron James, I don't know, any of the athletic shit. But us everyday people, you don't speak your mind any old fucking way and see things happen and unfold for you in a positive way. I mean, it's simple math. After the fact, after the situation with the job fell through, me and the supervisor, I didn't even get mad at that dude. We didn't even talk about it. Now I could have called him all kind of names. I could have said he was this, he was that. But I understand. I was, don't get me wrong, I was disappointed in the fact that he didn't come to me as a man and say, hey, Wood, you know how shit is, man. Let's stop at the bar and let's chop it up and talk about your next move. What's next? He didn't never come at me in no real kind of way and keep it a buck in any kind of way. And I thought that was fucked up, but that's life, man. That's the real world. So I did some looking into the ownership of the Breakfast Club. It's owned by iHeartMedia, which is part of Clear Channel Communications. But it's this CEO named Robert Pittman, who used to be at MTV, 66 years old, white cat from Jackson, Mississippi. Like, he don't give a fuck what, and this is the thing, because I see all these, this the quote about, from Malcolm X, about, the most dangerous person or whatever the fuck is the white liberal. I'm pretty much betting that Robert Pittman is a white cat who's probably a liberal. He don't give a fuck what Charlemagne the God goes on radio and says. He don't give a fuck about his jokes about white people and some of the shit that he says that's true about racism. He don't give a fuck about none of that. You get numbers for me. You make me money. Your show is across the country. Everybody wants to come. Your show is so popular that you got Barack Obama to sit down on your show. Robert Pittman don't give a damn about none of that. Exactly. Eddie Augustine, you already know. You already know. But he was like, I'm gonna get in here with Barack Obama and I'm gonna try to challenge him on some shit. That's another question I would love to ask. That's another thing that I would love to know. I hear a lot of black people talking about, perfect thing that Barack Obama didn't do nothing for black people. He didn't do nothing specifically for black people. Maybe not. I don't have an argument there. I just want to know, how many black people actually get into management in their own jobs, in their own career fields? And I'm not saying that nobody does, because I used to read Black Enterprise, and they had in their monthly, they were talking about different people assuming, moving into the C-suite or becoming managers at different companies, corporations across the country. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But in my personal experiences, I ain't seen a lot of black people go try to do shit, to go try to lead shit, to apply for shit. You got a lot of times people got to a position where they were comfortable and then just put their head in the sand and was like, I'm good. I don't want to be bothered with that shit. One reason why nobody does it, a lot of people don't do it, is because in a lot of situations, the numbers, again, simple math, the numbers, people want to go in and shit and feel comfortable, And like I said, if it's 9 damn supervisors in the building and it's only one minority, and you, you probably just not doing it. You probably not gonna take a shot at that. You worried about being fucked over. You worried about not getting supported on shit. It's a lot of just people kill me like they out here being a boss about all kind of shit, and that's not the truth. People come on social media, come on these YouTube channels and lie about shit. That shit just kills me. A lot of boxing, so I talk a lot of boxing on this channel. A lot of people say what this would do, what I would do, what we need to do. I done told you, I go to these club shows, and a lot of time, the people that's funding this shit are not black people. A lot of the managers for a lot of these fighters, very rarely is it a black person. The person that's organizing the event, it's not always a black. I'm just this fake ass shit that people put on social media. This fake ass world that I'm seeing on here is just very it's very disheartening. And even Barack Obama talked about it in the interview with whether or not he did shit for you or not. Because it's almost like if he didn't send a check to your house with 2 commas on it, he didn't do shit. That's almost what the standard is becoming. But whether or not he did anything or not for you, or whether or not he was good or bad at his job, he stuck his fucking neck out there, and his name is his name. They asked my man, they wanted my man Colin Powell. They wanted Colin Powell to run, and he probably would have been a shoe-in. He said he didn't even want to do it. He turned that shit down. His wife didn't want him to do it. He was like, nah, I'm good. Chance to do something nobody had ever done before and make history and so on and so forth. And I think he would have been a fairly solid dude. I really do. He was like, nah, I'm good. I don't really give a fuck. Who was really qualified? A lot of people, who was really qualified to sit here and say whether or not Barack Obama was effective at his job or not? I ain't gonna tell you I'm the most well-schooled dude and all of that shit, but I think he was a good to above average president. During his 8 years, shit was relatively stable. He has one of the best track records out of all presidents with the stock market, which is a barometer that some people use. Made it through. I was looking into that. C-SPAN has him. C-SPAN is a pretty neutral. Man, Eddie, if I could get you, if I was on my laptop, I would just let you call in and just talk your shit because you know everything that's going on. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of people talk this boss shit and you ain't no boss. And then we go around and hate on people who are fucking bosses. Because you can get 20,000 people to buy into your hate talk on YouTube. But I was looking at this C-SPAN shit, and they kind of reinforced or affirmed what I think that that Barack is a pretty good to above average president. They had him listed at number 12. Just for a little context, Ronald Reagan was number 9. A little shocked to see Reagan that high, but fuck it. Number 7 was JFK. The top 5 was all of the iconic dudes on the pennies and shit. Spots 1 and 2. William Clinton, Bill Clinton, he was number 15. George H.W. was number 20. George Bush 1. Dude was like, no, he was 12 from the bottom. I would imagine when well, I ain't even gonna talk about 45. You know, you know where he'll be. I'm gonna go on and play this little shit just because this is when a grown man, a real dude, a serious person, somebody who's put his fucking neck on the line, somebody who actually has done something. And you can be judged on shit when you've done something. You come under scrutiny. You have people disputing your record. But he actually did some shit. A lot of people don't step forward and do shit and just sit around on social media just talking shit. But here's a real dude talking, in my opinion.
That in very few places are African Americans the majority of the vote. It's just simple math, right? So, in right where we're sitting right now in Washington, D.C., that would be the case. But there are not a lot of states, and there are a handful of cities where just the black vote delivers the power then to actually bring about concrete change. So as a consequence, then you've got to pay attention to how other folks are feeling. That may be frustrating sometimes, and as I said, that's not the job of everybody. The job of a writer, like a James Baldwin or a Ta-Nehisi Coates, the job of a preacher, the job of an activist. When I was a community organizer, I'm thinking differently about what I'm communicating because I'm trying to mobilize a particular segment of my community, right? But when we are talking about politics, particularly at the state or federal levels, well, you need to be able to persuade some white folks who are not going to think like you.
What more does the man have to say? Was that some political spin shit? Was that some bullshit? No. Like I just told you, it's 45 fucking black people in this country. It's 250 million white people in this country. You just saw President Trump. You just saw him say whatever the fuck he wanted to say for 4 years, however the fuck he wanted to say it. I ain't got no problem with that. But he just said whatever he wanted to say, however he wanted to say it. And he still got 72 million people to vote for him. You think if Barack would have fucked up on some of this dicey shit that he had to address, then I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Eric Holder, some of the police brutality shit that happened on his watch, I believe Trayvon, I think that was in there. The Ferguson shit, I didn't see Holder really being all that effective of a dude. I really didn't. But I'm just saying, if you think if Barack Obama would have went out there speaking on things, like I said, man, Eddie Augustine is sharp. You sharp as a tack, bro. So that's about it, man. I don't give Charlemagne no credit for that shit, man. I don't. That wasn't no dope shit to me, man. That wasn't that shit was stupid to me. Could have asked a better question. You should have known that shit. Exactly. Yeah, man. I'm gonna put the link. Excuse me. Actually, I put the link of my most recent "It's Always Personal" podcast up on a post a couple days ago. I was really, I was truly disheartened about this shit on this on LeBron James YouTube channel, where NFL player Malcolm Jenkins had a video on there about we could do better by black women, and it was 22 replies to the video. It was a 2.5-minute video, 3-minute video. Malcolm Jenkins, an open letter about respect and honoring black women, and it was 22 replies on there, and it was like 4 women who said thank you with their reply, and then it was like 16 or 17 black men, or so their either their name or their avatar led me to believe it was a black male. And all 16 or 17 of those cats had some negative shit to say about a brother saying that we need to do better by black women. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, how fucked up of a community are we at this point in time where you can't even go on here and say, man, facts. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. That Breonna Taylor situation wasn't really the end all be all to me. And not to disrespect the life of that young lady. But we gotta pick and choose our battles. That's it. I mean, we gotta pick and choose our battles. And that was a tough situation. My mom was saying to me earlier, though, we haven't heard nothing about George Floyd. But that's the thing, Eddie. A lot of this shit, same with this shit right here with Obama. And what Obama was saying in that sit down with the Breakfast Club. People think a lot of this shit gets resolved in 2 weeks. We think it gets resolved in 2 days. We think, we think you show up and you think you show up and vote, and then you get the outcome, and then that's it. That's all you have to do. It's people when I saw some before I got off of Facebook. I had some white coworkers and some white classmates and some people that was heavy on that Republican shit, and they were saying that this was strange to me. The logic in this was strange to me. But they said, why when Obama left the White House, why wasn't the country fixed? That's my simple thought to that is like, when has any president left the office and the country was just permanently fixed? Like, what does your statement even mean? Why when he left when HW left the White House, why didn't he fix all the problems? When Bill Clinton left the White House, why didn't he fix all the problems? When George Bush finished his 1 term, why didn't he fix all the problems? When Reagan left the White House, why didn't he? I mean, I was like, what kind of stupid shit is that? But people are weird. But anyway, man, I'm gonna jump on off of here. All this division that I continue to see in the black community is just kind of troubling, man. And the fact that you can't disagree with somebody, but still respect them as a person, and be civil with them. The fact that a lot of people don't understand that, like, you just can't know everything about everything. You just because you got a YouTube channel don't mean you come on here and be a genius and be an authority on every topic. You know what I'm saying? You might know the hell out of basketball. You might know the hell out of college football. But and here I am talking about some shit I ain't no genius on. So let me get on off of here, man. Like I said, pay me no mind. It costs you nothing. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.